In essence, what I'm saying about the teacher is that the teacher serves the purpose of being a kind of performance artist to the students. They have to take the materials that have been deemed appropriate to the institution by the scientist scholar, take it to the students and do some kind of performance art on this material. The drier and more boring they teach it, the less interested the students are. They'll just go to another school or whatever. So the teacher has to be a kind of performance artist. So that's why the teacher goes into the lower left quadrant, not because the teacher is a clown or the teacher is just trying to do art. It's because the teacher has to actually make this material interesting to the student. Media breaks out into these four realms. You have the mogul, of course, the media mogul in the upper right-hand quadrant. That is the executive of media. This can be anybody from, Roger Ailes of Fox News to Steven Spielberg in Hollywood. These are moguls. The technician in the lower right quadrant is doing routine operational work for the media. This, everyone from camera persons to CGI people who do all the graphic arts for movies and stuff. Those people go down there. The writer-creator, quite obvious there. That we move over into the charismatic ideational quadrants. The writer-creator being the person who has to come up with ideas for media. This can be the writer of movies, the person who writes the format for news shows, and so on. And of course, in the lower left quadrant is the entertainer celebrity. This is the person who brings a sense of, this is the person who's entertaining the body of people over in, in industry, the lower right-hand quadrant of industry, all the workers there, these people are entertaining those people. So the entertainer celebrity is the person who gets the attention, the person who is celebrated in media. Okay, so this sums up industrial civilization. There's a couple more excerpts I'd like to read from Thompson where he sort of gives a kind of perspective to all this with regards to the Industrial Revolution. Thompson says the Industrial Revolution in 18th century England began a process that has now only completed itself in North America. What most people refer to as post-industrial society is really only industrial society at last free of the restraints of feudal institutions. The entrepreneurial capitalism of rugged individualism has been replaced by a managerial society of executives. But as Marshall McLuhan pointed out, the principle that during the stages of their development all things appear under forms opposite to those that they finally present is an ancient doctrine. So what McLuhan, this is Thompson quoting McLuhan, so I'm going to quote Thompson quoting McLuhan and explain what McLuhan means there. He's basically saying that each of the forms of institutions or corporate systems that you see here, all broken out into four quadrants, they become their own little tribal societies who eventually forget the original purpose of why that quadrant became created in the first place. At some point, industry, government, education, and media are no longer really serving the purposes they were originally created for. Now they just are their own tribes, with their own four-way routine operational and charismatic ideational sides. And they are all only there to, now they just exist to make sure that that they survive. Each of the quadrants are now only interested in their own survival rather than we're here for this purpose. Although to the general population, they would still have you believe that they're there for this particular purpose. So do you see how that works? All right, I'm going to take a break here and end this video. And in the next series, we're going to go into well, the continuation of this. We're going to look at the four quadrants, the germplasm that started it all, which was the tribe, and we're going to look more carefully into these four quadrants to see what's the psychology behind it, and then finally, what is a kind of political magnetic field that gets created around this that creates our modern politics.